Oh, Bart Scott calls out Najee Harris. You're ungrateful, dude. Bart Scott on Najee Harris comments about his time with the Steelers. I don't see how Najee Harris. Then I had to. Wrote an opinion on this, so I'm gonna give my opinion, and then I'll read some of the comments, and we'll just get into this. I don't see how Najee Harris being brutally honest is being ungrateful. The truth hurts a lot of people. The guy was basically the most productive player on offense the last 4 seasons, and Omar Khan decided not to pick up his $8 million option. This was a huge mistake and the biggest blunder in free agency for Pittsburgh. Steelers still haven't gotten a quarterback on contract, in parentheses, a legitimate starting one. Only Jaylen Warren back with no real talent behind him that can run in between the tackles. I predict Najee Harris has a career year this season with the Chargers. Horrible move on the Pittsburgh Steelers to let him walk. It's also pretty sad the media is bashing him for saying the offense was young and the Chargers have a great facility. The 24/7 sports news cycle was filled with complete trash. Trying to make a villain out of Najee Harris and spinning it like he's bashing Pittsburgh is ridiculous. He really didn't say one word about Pittsburgh other than there wasn't much better in leadership. If the glove fits, shaking my head. Good luck, Najee, and I wish you the best the rest of your career. I, for one, appreciate all the hard running you did with the Steelers, and thank you. So there it is, man. I mean, you got Nick Chubb out there, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Najee Harris. You could have easily brought him back for a fifth-year option and a very cheap fifth-year option. The Steelers are still sitting with $40 million in salary cap space. Really haven't made any big splash in free agencies. You can say the DK Metcalf thing was a big splash, but that didn't come through free agency. They made a trade with the Seattle Seahawks, and they were able to get a good talent, a much needed talent. But at the end of the day, they don't have a quarterback on contract throwing him the ball. And all they brought back was Mason Rudolph. And let's just be honest, I don't see how any way this organization can go out there after they pass Mason over, I don't know how many times, for Mitch Trubisky, for Kenny Pickett, to Russell Wilson, to sit there and come out here with a straight face and say, "Oh, we're comfortable with Mason Rudolph being our starting quarterback." They're going to have to bring in a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers, and that's really what they're sitting on and waiting on. That's why they're not making any big splash moves right now in free agency. Aaron Rodgers is sitting here playing chicken with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, they don't want to bring Russell Wilson back because they would have brought him back already if that's who they want. So the Steelers obviously are all in on Aaron Rodgers, and they're trying to get him. Like it, love it, hate it. That is what it is. And he's probably going to come at least 25 to 30 million. So he's going to eat up most of that salary cap. But you could have easily brought Najee back for that $8 million option. I mean, the guy's basically been the most productive player on offense. And all he really did was say there wasn't any veteran leadership outside of Ben. There wasn't on offense. It was one of the youngest offenses in the league. Is that really bashing the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's just telling the facts about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was asked a question, "What do you like about the Chargers?" He said, "Well, these facilities are amazing." I mean, is that the Pittsburgh Steelers' fault? Is he really going out of his way to bash the Pittsburgh Steelers? He's just saying how amazing and how much money that the Los Angeles Chargers has invested in their facilities. I mean, he appreciates that, and that's what made it an attractive place for him to want to sign. And the Steelers could have had him. There's no free agency. They had an option. They had a team option on Najee Harris, a very cheap team option for the type of production he gave behind an offensive line that's been terrible. And outside of Ben Roethlisberger, and even when Ben Roethlisberger was with Najee Harris, he really couldn't throw the ball down the field anymore. He was at the end of his career, and this wasn't the same Ben Roethlisberger anymore. So pretty much the past 4 seasons, defense is key in on Najee Harris, and he's been the most productive player. Really hasn't said a peep. Was a complete professional, and I don't know, for Bart Scott to really come out of his way to bash him and call him ungrateful for those comments, I think that's just it's just garbage. It's the media trying to create a villain. It's trying to create a story. It's trying to create clicks, and it's trying to create controversy and something out of nothing. The guy's been a great pro for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's going to be the biggest regret of the offseason letting Najee Harris walk. I can almost guarantee he's going to have a career year with the Chargers if he does not get hurt. Najee's now. Here's what some of the people have to say. We'll read some of these comments, and then I'll give my opinion on him. Najee is a talented running back, but didn't want to be here for real. Anyway, I don't see it that way. I see they didn't want him here. He said during the season he was looking at potentially joining the Stars because he like where they were headed, saying that he already knew where he was going. It didn't seem to come off a bit ungrateful, even though he was speaking some truth. Granted, with all the shit he was saying, he made it to the playoffs all 4 years he was here. Some of the replies were saying, doesn't take talent to hop, skip, and jump for 3 yards. Well, actually, it does. Actually, it does. Najee's 240 pounds, and especially when he's getting stopped in the backfield every single time. Like every time they run that halfback dive up the middle, he's getting met by defensive linemen, and he has no holes to run through. Some of the most broken tackles in a game, some of the most broken tackles in a single season. And now he's going to go to the Chargers with a quarterback that can stretch the field and Justin Herbert and probably a lot better offensive line. Najee Harris, I think, is going to shine with the Chargers. Just remember that you have to play against those players who train and lift weights in shifty facilities. So you should be able to score over 100 yards. See you next season, Najee. Wow, he's being honest, speaking the truth, and reap the Steeler fans know this correct. If you thought last year was bad, wait till you see this season Tomlin has. Najee's a great dude, personality-wise. Average at best running back. He rushed for 1,000 yards every year, but wasn't flashy. His longest rush was like 37 yards. He didn't have many big runs, but he can run in between the tackles. He's a power back, and everybody, and he's a solid running back, man. Solid running back. And in terms of the salary cap, $8 million is not a lot of money. The salary cap is like 300, 250, 260 million, whatever it is. $8 million, like not even 10% of the salary cap, what his option would have been. So you cannot just let someone who has rushed four straight 1,000 yard seasons walk for that, in my opinion. Now we're gonna have to scramble around, draft a running back, or possibly bring in a Nick Chubb or nothing. I honestly think, they're gonna get Rodgers. They're gonna sign him for like 30, 35 million. And then whatever's left in salary cap, they're just gonna fill through the draft and just depth pieces, cheap depth pieces that they can find pretty much off the scrap heap. So all the rest of the salary cap that the Steelers have is going to be going to Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. That's what's going to happen. Because I hear no lies here. Najee was never injured and never missed a game in 4 years. He also rarely fumbled the ball. He averaged around 3.6 yards per carry. Not a lot to dislike. I'm just saying, keep it real. He averaged a little bit more than that. You'd probably want him to average a few more yards per carry, definitely. But, for the longest time, Steeler fans gave Kenny Pickett a pass and said, oh, you can't throw the ball if you don't have an offensive line. How is Kenny Pickett supposed to succeed if he doesn't have an offensive line in front of him? Well, how is a running back supposed to succeed if he doesn't have an offensive line in front of him? Or a quarterback that can stretch the field and keep defenses from stacking the box? Because honestly, the first 3 years of Najee's career, that's all defenses did was stack the box on him and key in on him. And he did nothing but produce, never fumbled. Everybody bitched and bitched and bitched how we didn't have a running back. Said we should have got rid of James Conner. Look what happened when we got rid of James Conner. I was even saying we should have kept James Conner. We let him walk. He went to Arizona and he starts putting up crazy numbers with the Arizona Cardinals. And I honestly believe this is going to be the same with the Chargers. I mean, the offense has been terrible. Not only the offensive line has been terrible, the offensive coordinator's terrible. And the offensive coordinators have been terrible. They literally tell the defense what they're going to do every single time on first down. They say, "Hey everyone, we're going to run it right up the middle on first down to Najee Harris." And he gets met in the backfield by a slew of defenders. So I don't care how good of a running back you are. If you're getting met in the backfield, you're not even getting a seam to run through, you're not going to be productive. You could be Eric Dickerson. You could be Tony Dorsett. You could be Marshall Faulk. You could be Endron James. If you're getting met in the backfield every single play, almost every single play, you know, your yards per carry are not going to be they're not going to be great. It's funny because our fans complain about the same fucking thing because he ain't been on a team no more. We hate him for saying it, make it make sense. Big mistake letting him go. I listened to him. It's not as bad as the headline makes it seem. He didn't trash the team or come off as bitter. Not at all. He was asked questions. It's not like he's like, oh, it just came out of his way to bash the Steelers. He was asked a question about the Chargers facility, and they said, what went wrong in Pittsburgh? And he said, there wasn't much veteran leadership on offense. And I mean, there wasn't. Sorry, there was not any veteran leadership for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that's why they're doing their best and they're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers because they want someone to come in and take the reins and take control of the offense and be able to call the plays and run the plays at the line. And that's where this $40 million that the Steelers have left in cap space is going to go. Who is Bart Scott? Najee can say what he wants. If he isn't happy and now has a place he's happy, good for him. He will ball out with that O line and game plan. I think he's just being honest. I'm glad he's telling the truth. These days, a lot of people don't like to hear the truth. In fact, he averaged under 4 yards per carry at times. We can do better. Who? Nick Chubb, who's hurt. J.K. Dobbins, who's hurt. Gus Edwards, who's not as productive as Najee Harris. Or are we going to draft an unknown guy out of college? Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it doesn't. What I know is Najee's done it, been there, done it, is in the prime of his career, and is about to have a prime year. He is about to have a prime year of his career. I mean, the durability and the fact that he does not fumble the ball is more than 1,000 yards every season is enough for me to bring him back for $8 million. That's absolutely nothing, and it's going to be it's the biggest mistake. The way I see it, the Steelers are losing free agency right now. They're not winning free agency. They don't have a quarterback. They didn't bring in any big names. All they did was trade for DK Metcalf. That was a good trade, but it had nothing to do with free agency. That's a trade, not free agency. They did nothing in free agency except sit on their hands and wait to shell out to all of our salary cap to basically a washed up quarterback. There's only there's not many quarterbacks who've played over 40 in the NFL. Tom Brady's the oldest. He retired at 45. Vinny Testaverde was like 44. Doug Flutie was like 43. Brett Favre was like 41. So I mean, is Aaron Rodgers completely washed up? No, but do I want to sit here and sign Aaron Rodgers for a long-term deal? And is he a long-term answer? And is he really going to put the Steelers over the hump? I don't know, but it seems like this is what the Steelers are going to do, and it's going to happen. Like I predicted it before the season even ended. It's going to be Rodgers. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to pursue the guy with the best resume. They got all this salary cap, and the biggest issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers, pretty much since Roethlisberger left, even when Roethlisberger won his last 2 3 years of his career, has pretty much been the quarterback position. So I mean, the Rodgers deal is probably going to get done, and I think the Steelers are really going to regret it because he should have been a part of the leadership he's bitching about. These guys are highly paid professionals. They should get more credit for losing. I'm sick of this blame the other guy culture. His attitude is what's holding him back from being a Hall of Fame running back. I don't know. I think he still has a good chance to be a Hall of Fame running back, especially if he has a career year. That'll put him at 5,000 yards, and he's like 28. Hey, man, that's great. Let's get something straight. Who has Tomlin developed in the past? Tomlin draft picks, Unidivas, prima donnas. Terry Bradshaw's right. He's a cheerleader at best. This doesn't even have nothing to do. This is what I mean. Like this is why I get on to Tomlin haters all the time because this is a post about Najee Harris, and then you just got some random Tomlin hater in here. Do you blame him? The Steelers. Who has he developed? Cam Hayward, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Najee Harris, T.J. Watt. Come on, man. Minka Fitzpatrick, essentially, he came here like in his second year. Joey Porter Jr., Zach Frazier. Shit, he's developed a lot of good talent, man. Antonio Brown's a Hall of Famer. Cam Hayward's a Hall of Famer. T.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer. He's developed a lot of talent since the time he's been here. So miss me with that. Uh, I hope he learns how to catch the ball in open field. Good, strong running back, but you can't keep running through people the way he does. That's his only move. He rarely finds a hole and hits the open field. There are no holes. There are no holes for him to find. They run a halfback dive up the middle, and they stunt the middle because they know he's running up the middle, and they stop him in the backfield every single time because the play calling's abhorrent. Average NFL running back. The good thing about him is he didn't fumble. What does he have to be grateful for? He came into the program and never had a legit O line, never had a legit quarterback outside of maybe Justin Fields, and his head coach decided to split reps between him and Warren. I think he was a little too vocal in the 2023 season for Mike Tomlin. The fact that he was able to run for 1,000 yards every year with the deficits mentioned above and not getting hurt speaks volume of his hard work and talent. I hope he has a fantastic career outside of Pittsburgh. That's basically what I've been saying the whole time, pretty much. I'm gonna give this guy a like. He will be great. I think he's been great. In my opinion, he's been a solid running back. I mean, what more do you want, man? Especially when you split snaps and there's no quarterback and there's no O line. I mean, god damn, bro. Absolutely agree. A misused great talent, hard to run the ball against nine stack defenders because that's who we are. If we had any kind of middle field passing the game when it counted, he could have shined in those opportunities where defenses didn't know if they were going to run or pass, but no. Our offense is stagnant and predictable, which has nothing to do with Najee. Best of luck to you, sir, in San Diego. Basically, what I've been saying. To be honest, Warren was more of a Pittsburgh Steelers type of hard nosed downhill runner. Come on, man. Warren's a scat back. He's not a hard nosed downhill runner. Najee has the most broken tackles in the NFL since he's been in the league, man. The most 1,000 yard season since he's been in the league. There isn't a harder nosed runner in the NFL than Najee Harris outside of maybe Derrick Henry, bro. That's about it, man. In my opinion, name one a bigger, stronger, AJ Dillon maybe, but he's not that. Other than that, who? Gus Edwards? I don't know. He's a come on, man. He's 240, a brick shithouse. Just because you run more than anyone doesn't make you more productive. He hasn't ran more than anybody. He has the fifth most carries. He runs the ball a lot, but he hasn't run the ball more than anybody. So that's just a biased, uneducated opinion. It's a low class move by Najee. You walk away and say nothing if you were happy. He was interviewed, asked about the Chargers, what makes you like the Chargers, talked about the facilities, asked what went wrong with Pittsburgh, and he said there wasn't much young there was not much veteran leadership on offense. I don't see that as a dig or a shot at Pittsburgh at all. He was asked a question and he answered it honestly. Najee was constantly dodging defenders behind the line of scrimmage. He would pick up 7 or 8 yards when he actually had a hole. He will be missed. I'm definitely on the fence with this one. He was durable, didn't fumble much, 1K rusher every year with a below average pass game and O line. So I think a lot of people agree with me, man. I think a lot of people agree with me. They're going. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's a lot of people that don't like Najee too, but to me, for $8 million, bro, if you don't even have to negotiate the deal, it's a team option. You control him for one more season. You might as well just let that one more season ride out on the cheap and then let him walk from there, man. But now we got to scramble for a running back. We got to still sit on our hands and wait for Aaron Rodgers to decide if he wants to play, if he wants to eat shrooms and retire, or if he wants to go to New York and get paid $50 million to play under the lights and end his career there, finishing 3 and whatever, 4 and whatever, 5 and whatever with the Giants that don't have a chance in the world. Um, so there you go. This guy says agree wholeheartedly. Oh well, we have no vision or burst for the Chargers. Good luck with him. I think he'll have a lot of vision, a lot of burst because he's going to have a lot more holes. He's going to have a quarterback in Justin Herbert who's going to throw the ball deep. I think the Chargers have a lot better offensive line than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think Najee Harris is really going to shine. Really going to shine, man. 4 yards of carry is hardly talented. Okay, man. People, they're clueless, man. You don't see it because anything that makes Pittsburgh or Mike look bad, then you're good with it. I mean, I don't really see how that makes Pittsburgh look bad. I defend Tomlin a lot, so I don't know where this guy's coming from. He comments on my post all the time too, Orlando. I don't know where you're coming from. Maybe I've been a little bit of critical of Tomlin as of late, but I've been doing this 7 years and I've been defending Tomlin the whole time. When Terry Bradshaw came out there and said Mike Tomlin's nothing but a cheerleader, I said he's working and building a Hall of Fame resume and he's on pace to pass Chuck Noll in all-time wins. And after this, see if the Steelers win 11 games this season, he will pass Chuck Noll in all-time wins. Mike Tomlin's a Hall of Famer, but he's not above criticism. There's a lot of bad in-game decisions on Mike Tomlin's part, and uh, he deserves some criticism, especially now we haven't won a playoff game in 8, 9. What is it going to be? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How many years? How many years is it going to be until we win a playoff game before we decide to say, hey, Tomlin, enough's enough already? I never said fire him, but I never said resign him either. You don't fire a guy like that, but they could have choose to move on. They could have choose not to extend his contract. They could have choose to say, "Hey, thank you for everything you've done with the organization, but I think it's time for us both to move in a new direction." If he was the bus, he would have stayed. You could have just optioned him, and he would have had no choice. That's just it. They let him become an unrestricted free agent. So if I'm an unrestricted free agent, I'm taking the best deal available. That's just the way it is. It's a business. I'm taking the most money I'm offered. Period. The end. It's a business. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. So I'm not gonna sit here and read all these comments. I think I got enough opinions up, in my opinion, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna end this, and here we go, Steelers.